See, Joey, that's the beauty of argument. Because if you argue correctly, you're never wrong.
Well, this statement is technically illogic. What constitutes argue correctly and how would you define wrong? Misleading and manipulative speeches are everywhere in our lives. They're just like a bug in an argument. And today, we're gonna catch them red-handed. In English, we call it a logical fallacy. 它的中文是逻辑谬误. C'est ça qu'on appelle en français l'erreur logique. It is known to us as the reasoning that is evaluated as logically incorrect and undermines the logical validity of an argument. Well, thanks, Wikipedia. We all have this experience that when somebody says something to you, his argument may be, solid and logical, but if you think about it really hard, you find the argument utterly ridiculous. Ridiculous! Formal and informal fallacies are everywhere in our lives. A formal fallacy means an argument is a false argument because there is a problem in the logical structure. Take the masked man fallacy for an example. The magistrate believes the masked man is a killer. The magistrate believes that Jack is not the masked man. Jack is not the killer. Instead of what he believes, a magistrate judges a case by evidence, so this must be a formal fallacy. Informal fallacies refers to an argument that may be logically solid, but it still may be a false argument because the speaker may choose to distort the context or introduce ambiguity. Informal fallacies are welcomed by dictatorships all around the world because it distracts people from the real issue at hand by introducing something else instead. The most commonly used informal fallacies are appealing to red herring and a false dilemma. Let's take a look at some of them with examples. Here we have Mr. Donald Trump and his favorite fallacy, appealing to assertion.
Nobody can do it like me. Nobody. Nobody can do it like me. Honestly.
Nobody's stronger than me.
Nobody has better toys than I do.
There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
Nobody loves the Bible more than I do. Nobody builds walls better than me. Nobody's better to people with disabilities than me. Nobody's fighting for the veterans like I'm fighting for the veterans.
There's nobody that's done so much for equality as I have.
There's nobody more pro-Israel than I am. There's nobody more conservative than
Like I said, fallacies like this are appealing to assertion. Just because you say something over and over again doesn't make it true, does it? For other types of appealing to fallacy, we have appealing to authority.
When somebody's the president of the United States, the authority is total.
Appealing to authority fallacy, as the name suggests, is a type of feasible argument where a speaker tries to justify something by saying somebody important has said this, the authority advises to. But remember, just because the authority says something does not mean it is true. For example, a handful of countries actually listened when the World Health Organization said in January, coronavirus is fine, don't close the borders. And now we have this shit show. Now, let's take to the internet to see the real-life fallacies in play. Global Times. Trump threats to ban TikTok may backfire, says experts. Appealing to authority. Comparatively, China also bans Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
15 minutes later.
Wikipedia, New York Times. Do they all backfire, Mr. Expert? Foreigners from Russia, Belarus, Nepal, Mongolia, and Thailand pay visit to North Korean missions. Well, why would they do that? Now, this is what we call a bandwagon effect. By trying to say there are lots of foreigners who are visiting us, the North Korean regime trying to establish the image that they are popular among the international community. But is it true? WeChat users in India have lost a convenient way to keep in touch with friends, especially in China, making easy payments, getting information, and more. In this piece, China Daily tries to argue that New Delhi shouldn't have banned WeChat by quoting its connectivity benefits, but it distracts people from acknowledging the real reason why it got banned in the first place: privacy. This is what we call red herring. Distraction is commonly used for political propaganda purposes because it distracts people from acknowledging the real issue behind the question we're talking about. For example, if you say the Saudi Arabia woman cannot leave the country without a consent from a male guardian, the Department of Propaganda in this country may rebuke you with something like, "Shut it, we're the country with a great economy." Now you know this is red herring because economic development does not justify human rights violations. By now you should have known what speech fallacy is. And the most important question to ask right now is, what should we do to defend us from this kind of tricks? The first question you should be asking yourself is this relevant?
Irrelevant, Captain.
Exactly. Economic development does not justify human rights violations. A convenient and useful app does not guarantee privacy. Having lots of friends does not make you the good president. And also, do not always listen to the World Health Organization. To think critically, you need to be asking yourself, yes, but, so did you get it? Yes, I got it, but...